Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this quick live today. I'm going to be teaching very simply how to monetize and sell your expertise, education, and experience packaged for 10K or more within the next 90 days. Now, this is going to be for you, even if you're just getting started and you don't know your niche, but you've got an expertise, you're highly educated, you've got 30 plus years of experience, 20 plus years of experience, and you're trying to figure out how do you take the brand of you and package it. This is going to be absolutely for you. It's also going to be for you if you already have a package, but likely you aren't selling it for high ticket. You might still have a consulting business where you're trading time for dollars, $150 an hour, $250 an hour, $350 an hour, or small packages under $2,500 per client. You're going to get a lot of value from what I'm going to be teaching today. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I got started in my company 25 years ago. And I simply had this thought. I wanted to figure out how to package my expertise, my background, and my gifts into a product or service that I could go to market with. I wasn't sure when I got started what I was going to do. I didn't know that I'd be a coach or a consultant. I had no idea, or even who I would consult. My background's corporate training, and I was really great at doing all things training and development, instructional design work. And I became a mom, and I wanted to own my time and change my work model so I could be more available to my children. And I wanted to build a business around my life. Because a lot of times we start a business, but because we're so familiar with the work structure that we're accustomed to, 9 to 5 or 9 to 7, depending on how you're working, that we start a business often with those exact same models. And I became an entrepreneur so I could control my time, first of all, and maybe that's your story as well. As a result of being a mom, I decided that I would create these great self-care systems for myself so that I wouldn't be one of the moms that had gotten lost in motherhood, because that was my mother's story. And she made me promise that I would create a different journey for myself. And I had some routines, I had some rituals that really worked for me, that spoke to so many of the women that I would meet in play groups and things like that. And so that was my first business concept. I decided to launch the brand of me, and that was to package a system for moms to help them to self-care better. And as a result of building this thought leadership, my own framework, I wrote a couple of books that became Amazon bestsellers back when you actually had to sell books to become a bestseller, wink. And I ended up getting signed to several Emmy-nominated and national syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And so my brand began to have tons of visibility. I did a number of corporate and strategic partnerships with large corporate brands, Fortune 100 and 500 companies, who had an interest in me supporting their demographic of moms or their workforce of moms. And so I was able to leverage what I knew how to do on the corporate side in terms of packaging intellect for myself, and it worked. And then I decided that what I would do equally is build a coaching practice supporting women who wanted to go deeper. And I'm sharing my story with you because I want you to follow along and see how organic it is and how simple it can be to package either a hard skill, that's something maybe you're doing professionally or something you've trained for, or a soft skill, which was motherhood in my case. And as a result of growing my coaching business, I built my first coaching program, and it was 12 grand a year, right? And this is 26 years ago. And I'll never forget the experience of making that first sale, that first over 10K sale, which made me realize for myself that I had something of significant value. I felt very confident about what I was doing, what I was building, and the impact that I was making, and the fact that I could be properly compensated for it. So I wanted to do this live today to speak to those of you who have wanted to monetize and sell your intellect, your first 10K or your first high ticket offer, and you haven't done it. And you wonder, is it possible for me, right? Because maybe you've been trying and it just hasn't worked. And I'm going to speak to that. As a result of me building the mom coaching business for the first 7 years, that's all I did was coach moms and women around identity and showing up for themselves and standing in their value in many aspects of their life. I decided to coach women equally with building their own brands and their own businesses and showing them how I packaged what I did successfully. And I just transferred the steps of what I did on how to package what you do, how to price to fully value what you're doing, and how to position yourself and how to find buyers. Now, I think one of the things that's really unique about me and my story is that I built a coaching business from the comfort of my home even 26 years ago. So I never built my business as a speaker on the road. I always brought the client to me. And so if that's been something of interest to you, you're going to particularly love what I'm going to say today, what I'm going to share. And I hope that as a result of what I share, that it enlightens you and it gets you to think differently about the possibilities of you packaging your intellect. Now, what we're going to talk about is how to monetize and sell your knowledge, your expertise, your education, right? For 10 grand or more over the next 90 days. And it's something that I have done with tons of clients who have worked with me in my masterminds, whether they've come to the Giant Experience mastermind. Hundreds of women have come, and many of them within 2 days have learned how to finally package themselves into a high value brand, or whether they have decided to partner with me in any of my year-long coaching or 3-month immersive coaching experiences so that they could learn what is packageable about me and how to properly structure what I do the most profitably. Try saying that 10 times. So I'm going to break that down for you today. My goal is for you to leave this live and become clearer on what you can do with what you have already done. You already have the experience, you already have the gifts, you already have the talent, but often we don't know how to put it in structure. So the first thing I want you to do, and write this down, is package what you are purposed to do. So write that down. Package what you are purposed to do. And the reason I say it that way is because often we want to do what we're passionate about. And passion is a big part of what I get to do and what a lot of my clients do. But the truth of the matter is you have to take it a step further. You get a step further than your passion. And you actually need to be thinking about, as a result of what you're passionate about, what is your purpose that's aligned with that passion? So for me, I'll use the example. Once I decided to support other women with packaging their intellect into a high ticket product, I was very passionate about it because I myself had built a business from scratch, from the comfort of my home, with a model that was time rich. And I knew the level of freedom that it had created for me because I built the business so I could get free and stay free, right? I wanted to be the mom that could see everything, and I needed to have the right business models for that. I was very passionate about building a business that was time rich. And so when I started to think about offering what I was going to do to other women, I knew that the models really mattered. That me being able to share with other women how to step into leverage in terms of their business model was really important, because it was something that most women and most women of color don't know anything about, because they're so used to trading time for dollars, or the hustle, or working harder than anyone else. And it's just not sustainable long term. All of my freedom, all of my passion came from learning how to lean into building a business based on leverage. So the first thing that I want you to think about is, number one, package what you're purposed to do. And I was purposed to show other women how they could create more time and generate more income, right? Packaging their background, their experience, their expertise, their education, and into a product or service where they could support people on or offline, even if they never sold anything before, even if they weren't packaged at all. So I want you to think about, what is it that you are perfectly aligned to do? All right. When you think about your expertise and your background, you say, man, these are the people I want to serve. Think about, why do you want to serve them, and why are you purposed to bring this forward? I realized I was purposed to bring it forward because, one, I knew how to sell soft skills and hit six figures and beyond in my business. And I also knew how to sell a hard skill. And because of my background as a corporate trainer, I knew how to package knowledge and at a high level. And I understood how to license content, how that whole piece worked. And I wanted to teach other women how to do the same. Think about my story, but then think about your own story and how you can go deeper in your ability to support others. Package simply what you are purposed to do. And think about the change that, when you package what you know how to do, the kind of impact you can create for the people that you're meant to serve. I mean, I've worked with women many who have a medical background, and a lot of times they are really talented at what they do, but they've just never thought about their expertise from a place of packaging it into a high value structure. And when I thought about, like, man, I could show these women what the opportunity is for them that they can't see, because a lot of times we're too close to our own giftedness to see. And equally, when you're very talented and you're very smart, sometimes the thing that creates confusion around packaging is the fact that when you start thinking about what you can do, you're like, well, I could help someone with this, and I could help someone with this, and you start thinking about all the things you can do, and it creates confusion around what you ought to be doing. Does that make sense? Because you're not focusing on what you're purposed to do, not just what you can do. I didn't say that in the question. Package what you are purposed to do, not only what you just can do. And I think that that's a real clear distinction. The second thing that I want you to keep in mind, if you want to monetize and sell your expertise for 10 grand or more in the next 90 days is, and this is so important, is to know how to clearly communicate the value of the results that you bring and how to price them accordingly. So I'm going to repeat that. You need to know how to communicate the value of the results that you bring to the folks that you're meant to serve, and how to price that accordingly. And when I tell you, this is the thing that really, if we want to say twist the wigs of women, this is it. All right. Most people do not know how to communicate clearly the value of the results that they bring to their demographic. So you may be thinking about what you want to sell, but you might not be thinking about it in terms of how, if I am the person that would have a need for your services, how to communicate it to me so that I understand, like, the value, what that result is really going to do for me. Does that make sense? And even if you do know the value of the results, you need to know how to price what you do. And this is what I see people do all the time. They undervalue and they over-deliver. And as a result of that, they're not able to sustain the giving in the thing that they want to do, the thing they're purposed to do, because they're not profitable. So knowing how to clearly communicate the value of the transformation, the many different types of transformations that I teach my clients that you can offer a client. And when you really understand the value of what you're really giving your audience, and you know how to price each and every step of that, you're unstoppable. I want you to think for a minute about your favorite car. Like, let's play with a luxury vehicle for a minute. Like, when you think about a luxury vehicle, what separates one car from a basic car from a luxury vehicle is the value of the results that luxury vehicle is going to bring, right? Like, it likely has some other features that might include things like maybe it hooks up to Wi-Fi, maybe the way the navigation system works, maybe even, the kind of tires it has, maybe the kind of settings that you have depending on the elements in the rain. So understanding your transformation, what you bring that's different, and the value of that, and how that might support someone else is really important, and pricing accordingly. So imagine that you have all the features in the world. You create all the transformation available to your clients, but you don't know how to communicate them. And so therefore the client is trying to understand, why are you trying to charge $10,000 for this? Because you have communicated $1,000 worth of value. Are you with me? So one of the things that's really important is understanding how to do that. I teach my clients step by step how to understand the value of what they bring to their audience, and also how to price that accordingly. And pricing accordingly is what I wrote here, because it's not based on you Google searching what other people are doing. Because what I have found over the years coaching, thousands of women, is that if you Google search someone's prices that has likeness in what they're doing to what you're doing, and they don't know their value, then you assume that value. And what a shame, right? What a shame. Now I sound like Gordon Ramsay. But the reality is, you actually should know how to calculate the value of what it is that you bring, and why your price is the price. Because how do you walk a client through any sales process if you aren't clear about that? Number 3, the third thing we're talking about today on how to monetize and sell your expertise for 10 grand or more over the next 90 days is the importance of telling the truth, and stop trying to be everything to everyone. And let me explain what I mean. You trying to be everything to everyone is the thing that's killing your sales. You're not for everyone. You solve specific problems for a specific group of unique individuals who need exactly what you have. And when you've got a watered down generic message that allows you to cast a wide net, it is the reason why no one comes forward. The reality is that I realized over the years, for me, that I work with women. They're all smart, sharp. Many of the women are very educated. All of them have an expertise or knowing, a high level skill in what they do. They're super competent. They already have the habits of mind to be disciplined, accountable. They are investors in themselves. That's really important, because in order for me to support someone who already has the base, I can show them how to take what they're doing and put it in a structure that they can monetize. But you have to have those habits. They're believers. I work with a lot of all of my clients are believers. All of my clients are go-getters, and they love taking action, bold actions, because often that's what's required. I want you to tell the truth. And the reason I say this is, no one's going to want to work with you if you're selling high ticket, if you're not comfortable having proof or asking for proof. One of the things that we have are thousands of testimonials, and I don't say that to brag, I say it because it's true. The reality is that we create amazing results. I have so many clients who have, in short order, gone from not knowing what their product is to packaging their product within just a 2-day weekend as a result of the training in my masterclass, The Giant Experience. I have tons of clients as a result of either working with me in consulting in some way, or one of my group mentorship programs, or one of my year-long coachings or VIP days, or the masterclass, who have monetized at significant levels. Many of them sold what they have had, what their ideas were, once they packaged them, within weeks. And so consistently, we've had the ability, with the right demographic, women who are go-getters, action takers, who are investment minded, who believe in compounding their investment. They say, hey, look, I'm willing to make an investment of this to learn how to turn that investment into 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times what I invested. That's the mentality of the people that I like to work with. What about you? The fact of the matter is, stop trying to be everything to everyone. If I said that I work with people who they weren't motivated, or they needed someone to push them, that's not my demographic. I work with people who've already been promoted at high levels already in their careers. They have been go-getters. And they have been the women hanging from the skinny branch from the very beginning. Who are your people, as I say this? And it's very important, when you want to sell high ticket, to begin to toot your own horn, not from an ego perspective, but the only reason I'm going to want to work with you is because of your mastery. I'm going to want to work with you because you have an ability to create results. And there's an echo out there of that. Does that make sense? I always say if you're great at what you do and you've been doing it for a while, there's probably evidence, like a trail of it. Like from, for me, it was 26 years ago, first testimonials, and to today. And it's the reason why we have so many testimonials is because we consistently create results. What is it that you do where you're consistently creating results? And are you the historian of the results that you create? Because it'll make it a lot easier for you to sell if you position who you are and what you're doing properly. All right. And of course, there are other ways to be able to do it if you're just getting started. But understanding how to do that is something that we teach clients how to do, how to position yourself so you become the obvious choice and your ideal client come to you and they want to work with you. Remember, I mentioned earlier that I've run my business from the comfort of my home for the last 26 years. I'm in my office downtown, and all of my clients will always come to me. Okay. And I think that that's a pretty cool thing, right? So instead of chasing clients, which is what most people do. Number 4. The fourth thing that you want to do if you want to monetize your intellect and you want to sell what you do for 10K or more is, one, you have to know how to attract buyers and how to close them. So that attract clients and close them, right? And the reason I wanted to put it this way is because a lot of people they're great at what they do. They can create amazing results with their audience, but they don't know how to attract the right clients, prospects, and they don't know, or they don't have a sales process that's consistent where they can say, look, of the people that I talk to, I close at least 30% or more. And if you don't, that's an expertise that you need to invest in learning, because there's no sense in doing all the work. And I know you're doing the work already. You're already doing the podcasting. I know. Okay. And I love podcasting. I have some favorites out there that I love, but what I have seen often is that there are people who have more celebrity status, who have podcasts that do exceptionally well, and they build their brand, they build their business, they have a lot of great leads. And then I see these folks that are trying to pump air into their blogs or their podcasts, and they're working so hard and it's just not creating that yield. You've got to know how, to attract your audience in the most easiest and simplest ways. And then when you do, what do you do with them? How do you close them? What do you say to them? What do you do that's systematic? Because selling is systematic. And people who sell a lot, people who sell tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, trust me, they've got a system of what works. They're not practicing on the client. It's one of the things that I tell my clients all the time. You're not going to practice on the client. This is what our coaching and consulting is about. You're gonna go to that client already well rehearsed, well practiced, sure, and certain on what to say and what to give them and what your offer is. And if you don't have that process, and every time you're on a sales call is willy-nilly, it's time for you to up-level your game. So what I talked with you about today, which I hope this is giving you tons of things to think about, which is, the title is How to Monetize and Sell Your Expertise over the next 90 days, earn 10K or more, or have a 10K or more offer. And it's one of the things that I offer in my one of my Profit Accelerator Masterminds. I guarantee that anyone that I work with that comes to the Profit Accelerator, if they're willing to do the work, show up on the calls, and implement the things that I teach them, that they will sell 10K or more within 90 days. Okay. Or I continue to work with them until they do. And the reality is that if you're willing to show up and do the work, what kind of guarantee is that? It's because I am so certain that I can show you how to package what you do, what your purpose to do at a very high level, and how to price and value what you're bringing to the table so you can communicate that value to your ideal audience in ways that are unmatched. And so it's easy for them to say yes. And I'll show you how to position yourself as the obvious choice, how to tell the truth, about what you do and stop trying to be everything to everyone, right? Because that's harming you, right? And then also how to attract the right audience the first time. And the right audience to me are people who are ready, they are investment minded, they have the problem that you know how to solve, okay, and they're looking for a solution now. So they're not people who are saying things like, I am planning to work out, I'm going to go use my Peloton bike, but I'm going to do it in 2 weeks. Not, that's not real. Okay, these are people who are ready to go, and there's a way to work with people and assess to assess whether or not their readiness. All right, and they don't hem and haw, have a bunch of excuses. The people that I work with often just say, Mia, tell me when. Okay, when, where, how. Okay, how much, and we jump into it. So there are two options. If you're listening to this and you're like, Mia, I love this, want to learn a little bit more about you and how we might be able to partner in some way, I want to encourage you to book a business breakthrough session. It's about 30 minutes, and it will allow us to see what is packageable about you and at what level. Like, is this a 5K offer, 10K, 20K or more? And what are the gaps that might exist currently in your process that you want to figure out? So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is book a session with us, 30 minutes or more, and there we'll have an opportunity to see how we can support you, what the gaps might look like, and if you're fit. And if you are, I'd love to support you in being able to reach your goal of being able to sell what you do for 10K or more, or I'll continue to work with you until you do. And then equally, we have a masterclass, which I know you guys have likely, if you've been watching me over the years, the masterclass has, I think it's almost 5 years young, but it's helped so many of my clients. I'm going to type the link in here. It's thegiantexperience.com. And you can go there now and grab a seat in our next masterclass. And it's essentially an online curriculum plus 2 days live of live intensive coaching, in which case in intimate groups, we really help you to get clear on what's packageable about what you do, how to price what you do, how to position what you do, and how to close and sell what you do. Many of the women that have attended the masterclass have left and within days, built out their products, gotten really clear. I can't guarantee that those will be your results, but for people who do the work, I haven't had a failure. And I just want to encourage you that it is possible to take what you know and package it and sell it for 10K or more, or to have 10K or more months, or to be able to sell 10K in 90 days. And the reason I say that is because it's usually once you sell at least $10,000 in your services of what you're offering that you feel like confident in a different way. And if you've never done that, I want to invite you to explore that for yourself. I want to open the floor really quickly to see if you have any quick questions for me or any ahas or takeaways. And even if you are watching the replay here, I would love to hear what your questions are for me about you packaging your knowledge, your intellect, and your experience into a high value product. What's been getting in the way? Okay, what's been getting in the way, and how did this live today support you in understanding that this is absolutely available to each and every one of you? There's no mystery around it. It might feel like right now this is something that escapes you because you haven't done it yet. But I think once you understand the structure of, how to put together all of those years of experience, your expertise into a high value product, and how to frame it so that your ideal client understands the value you bring, and how to price that, and how to communicate what it is that you do so that you attract the right audience, you'll be unstoppable. Okay. And I'm excited about that for you. So I'm Mia Regent, business and life consultant, and it's been an honor to have the opportunity to share with you today how to package what you do for 10K or more to earn 10K or more within 90 days. All right. I'll talk to you soon and have an amazing rest of your day. Are you interested in packaging your knowledge into a high ticket product on or offline? If your answer is yes, the Giant Experience is for you. Here's my story. I got started in my business over 20 years ago, and I simply made the decision to go to work as myself. And maybe you have been wondering how you can take all of those years of experience, your knowledge, or your degrees, and put them to use for yourself and to package it into a monetizable structure. That was me 20 years ago. I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer, and I realized that so many women wanted to know exactly how I was able to write best-selling books, and having done partnerships with both Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies and get signed to media, Emmy-nominated and nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist. And so I decided to equally transfer what I knew how to do to them. And I built out a coaching practice that today has coached thousands of women just like you who are ambitious, smart, and sharp, highly actionable, go-getters. And they wanted to figure out how they could go to work for themselves.